Hello everybody. This is Iconic coming to you with another Simulation Sunday community spotlight live stream. We got ourselves quite a crew here today. I know we had a bunch of people actually that were congregating over on the corner there. I guess they're doing a lot of PvP, so I thought that was kind of cool. And didn't know that they had all that kind of going on over there, so that's an area I'll definitely kind of like check out later on in the stream to kind of make sure I don't really miss anybody. But it looks like we have another Aquaman character here, as well as the suit that I made over the week with the new chroma that they made for the seasonal event, the Undersea Monarch chroma. Really good chroma in general. So much so I had to buy it on another character as well. So very nice. But let's go ahead and just get right into it. I got Russell here. He says nice thumbnail. So I kind of got lucky with Chat GPT with a little bit of AI. I did have to edit it a little bit to get some of the details exact on my character. But otherwise it was really good. It looked really sharp, and my editing skills were just enough to make just about everything on it look legit for the most part. I got Count Sojourn saying in chat, he says, hey, good to see you again. I made some modifications with the boards recently. I'll be there soon. Okie doke. Well, I will see you then. Let's go ahead and get started here. So we're going to go ahead and take a look here at Arthur J. Curry since he's right next to me. We'll go ahead and take a look at his Aquaman style. And then we'll kind of go on from there. Alright. And then we've got Aphrodite here. I think that's like the sand material on the chest and legs. Yeah, it looks like the sand material. Let's see. And then we got some Warhammer 40k here with the Space Wolf. I like that a lot more people are doing Warhammer 40k styles. It's really really cool to see that people trying to make Space Marines in the game now. That's pretty cool. So I kind of smile just a little bit more when I see that. I like that. I think it's a good. I think it's a really cool IP, and I think that there's so much room for lore, and it's already got a ton of lore already added to it. And I think that they have so many opportunities to let that sort of fandom grow even more than what it is now. And I know the lore continues to grow over time, and I really like that it hasn't kind of outgrown itself to the point where it doesn't have room to still kind of venture into certain areas. So I like it. It's pretty cool. And if you've been checking out on the channel recently, I did walk around the EU and did something somewhat similar to this. Usually, at least when I'm on the US server, which I'm mainly based on, everybody kind of gathers in one area, so it's easy for me to kind of just check out everybody in one area for the most part. But on the EU, they were a little sparse and spread out, so I just actively went around looking at different styles and areas that I thought would be major hubs of people. And we had some really cool styles that kind of came on through. So that short should be on the channel. I believe I uploaded it last night, so it should be available at this point. And then we got our Atlantean style boars. This was Count in chat telling us about his new style. I like the Aquaman chest. The only thing that I don't like about the new chest is that they have the belt built into it. That's the only sad part, because if you want to do the absolute power Aquaman, uh, like the belt's gonna be a problem, because then you run out of colors, and so then you have to use a separate belt. But then all the belts clip into the chest style, so it's kind of odd how it works out. But I did manage to make the style. It's just I used a belt that I thought was okay, but there were other belts that I could have thought of using if only they didn't clip into the chest style that horribly. They were pretty bad. Let's see. We got Poseidon. Let's take a look at Poseidon here. What's up, Chosen? How's it going? Hello, welcome to chat. Cluster says Little Little Bohemia used to be really crowded. I miss those days. Also, hi, I'm new here. I love your creativity with styles. Well, welcome. Welcome to chat and welcome to the channel. And I had a few people recently tell me that it would be better to check by Little Bohemia, but it was like every time I went over there in the EU side, there was no one there. So I kind of just stopped kind of trying to go over there to see if there were people over there. I could be wrong. Maybe it was just the times I was going out. It was like 6 or 7 in the morning for the people that were there, or 6 or 7 in the morning for people who were on EU. So for me, that would be like 1 or 2 in the morning, basically, and there was no one there. So so. Yeah, it was kind of rough, so I was just like, okay, maybe they just don't do that on this side versus us on the US side. I'm gonna reply to Chrono here. Sup. Let's see here. We got Triology. Let's take a look at him. I like the robotic arm. I like that. I wish we had more styles like that. Yeah, more robotic styles, more one hand, either one hand or one leg, or yeah. Chrono asked a really good question. He doesn't have it in chat here, but he's sending me a tell, so and it's not like anything private, so I said I might as well say it. He says, not much ready for Tuesday. And Tuesday brings up the new event for Superman, or for the movie. I guess it's like a hype train for the movie, and so they're going to have a new Superman jacket in the game. You're also going to be able to get the Guy Gardner hairstyle, the bowl cut. And let me just check. I've been checking this like every day, but they said that they're going to fix the style for the Guy Gardner chest piece. I think it's going to get updated Tuesday because, it makes sense. Update it Tuesday, have it all along with everything else. Have the bowl. Okay, so they haven't fixed it yet. Okay, so it's probably going to update Tuesday. They're probably going to have it fixed Tuesday. No promises though. This is just me guessing it. But, like they're bringing out the bowl haircut, it makes sense that somebody would be like, oh, okay, I'll probably have it sent out, the fix sent out along with when the hairstyle comes out, So I'm kind of fingers crossed hoping that Tuesday is the day that the chest style's fixed and an emblem slot is added to it. That'd be so cool. Because then if that's the case, then I'll probably try to hurry a short out with Guy Gardner. Because I've already got a style already made. I would just have to switch out the hairstyle, and then I'd have to put the emblem on, and then I'd be good to go. And then I just go ahead and film it for, 2 minutes of filming, and then I'd be done. And then I could just edit for like 3 minutes, 3-4 minutes, and send it out. Because even though I like doing long form content, I can definitely see like shorts being a good way for me to kind of spit out styles real quick. If there's something that's new and I really like it, and I don't want to save it for a long form video, and it's something that I want to get out as quickly as possible. I could probably do that like through a short. And so, I'm not waiting till I have like 6 styles kind of like locked and loaded, and then put out the video. So it's a way for me to kind of get it out a little faster, especially if it's like time sensitive, like I did for the Super Sam. Uh, that's basically what I coined that, the Super Sam, Superman and Uncle Sam amalgam character that I did for the July 4th. I always try to do something for like April Fools or July 4th, or like little holidays like that, or like Halloween, or maybe like Christmas. I'll do something, but I like to try to do a little something for those holidays. I don't like them to not have anything happen on the channel. I like to do something. Um, the Murica vibes run deep, so I feel like I gotta do something. Alright. Count says, I even gave Boris some new weapons. One-handed has the Dead King Sword in the colors you find it in the Silent Skull, and staff for the Trident of Poseidon. Nice. And Cluster says, I always hung out at Little Bohemia up until a few years ago, and I think it started to die down when House of Legends got added. Even the Watchtower died out from then onwards. Yeah, like I can go into the Watchtower on the US side, and there's maybe like, I don't know, 10 to 15 people there. But like when I went on the EU side, not a single person was in there. Like when I was in the when I was in the when I was in the Watchtower and I looked at the phase, it was like one person in there, and I looked and I was like, oh wait, I'm the one person that's in here. That's it. Yeah, I was the only person in the Watchtower when I'd go looking around, and I'm like, oh okay, all right. So yeah, it's kind of sad, but yeah, House of Legends united a lot of people, but then those areas like the Hall of Doom or the Watchtower and whatnot, they definitely like they don't have as many people kind of stick around in those areas anymore. All right, let's take a look around here. We kind of just move around, see if I'm not missing anyone. All right, not bad. And then we got Wanji. Definitely a very Spec Ops character in how they look. I actually like that. You don't see a lot of Spec Ops styles in the game. So you really like start to appreciate these sort of styles when you see them come around. Very nice. All right. All right. We got Johnny here with his Johnny Storm style. He kind of just sent me a tell, let me know that he was here, and if I want to check it out, I could. And then we got Chrono here. He's got his beach swag on. All right, let's look at Exital. Some Final Fantasy 14 right there, it looks like. Let's look at Hades. If I could find him here. Here we go. Uh, welcome to chat, Rio. Let me see here. Chosen. He says, also, is there any Superman styles I can recreate using my main tune, which is mainly female? Um, Superman styles. Uh, I guess Fallen God's a really good one. That's a solid one. Um, I want to say House of L is a good one, especially I think it's the 2019 one. That's a good one. But Fallen God, you can make a lot of just in general Kryptonian styles, so it doesn't even have to be Superman styles. But it kind of varies because a lot of people use a lot of different things. But the stalwart defender is also a really good um, style to kind of start off with. It has one of the biggest chest slots for an emblem in the game, so it's still a very important chest style. Let me see this. Watching your stream right now. Big fan. Keep up the good work, pal. Thanks. All right. Rio says, I'm glad Xbox is still popular when it comes to Little Bohemia. It's not nearly as crowded as maybe 2 years ago, but there's always a decent amount of people on. And then Cluster says, I feel like the Fallen God style would go great with an electric character. Yeah, because the crazy thing is in the comics, I think with a lot of Kryptonians, you don't think of them as being electric characters, but I think when it comes down to Kryptonians and like Kryptonian hybrids, where you have Kryptonians that have children with like humans or other species, basically, I think that they gain different abilities, or at least it looks like the comics they kind of gain different abilities, kind of depending on like who their parents were. So I think you could kind of spin it that way if you're really trying to make like a Superman character that uses electricity. So I think you could kind of go that way. Yeah, I think you could get away with that. And then we got Kal-El here. And I gotta say, the best part that I actually like about this, besides the emblem, everybody loves the emblem, I love the emblem, is the belt. I think this belt is criminally underused. I use this for my Super Sam style, but I think it's like a lot of people don't think of it, but I think of it as a really good like an old-fashioned golden age Superman belt, or something like something Superman I feel like he would use if he was part of the JSA or something like that. It's got like the old world timey feel, or it has like that feel where it's like he's in the future and he's like one of the older superheroes, and he's in his golden years. He's at the very end of whatever, and he's still one of the driving forces behind the Justice League, and he has like a belt like this. So that's what I think of when I see that belt. So some people see the Wonder Woman, which it's based on the Red Sun Wonder Woman, but it to me it feels like it's more of a Superman belt, and it helps that it's got his emblem on it. Because to add a little bit of context, the Red Sun Superman is based on a Superman that crash landed in Russia, and so he is raised by the state in the Soviet Union, and Wonder Woman goes and presents herself as an Amazon to him in the Soviet Union, because he never landed in America, so she doesn't wear the red, white, and blue and the stars like America. She wears the gray, silver, red, and black of the Soviet Union. And that's the belt that she wears, since it's very like the atmosphere of the the Soviet Union at the time and whatnot. So to show her allegiance to Superman, she wears that belt and that giant buckle, and it has his symbol on it. So that's kind of the idea behind the character, and And I mean, you could see her standing next to future Batman in the House of Legends, kind of talking to him. Comrade Diana. But very, very cool character, and the belt's great. Who is that? Night. I'm trying to find the Nightwing character. He should be close by, so he shouldn't be that far down the list. Here we go. This is an old trick that they did, where you have the emblem that cuts into it. Alright. Let's see who else. Looks like we have a Beast Boy character. I'm always curious to see how people pull him off in different styles. I have Bulakin asking US or EU this time. This is the US server this time. Yeah. Yep. This is the US server, our usual. So on Sundays, I'll always just about be here at 6:30 to like 7:30, about roughly an hour. You know, sometimes we go over and that's fine. You know, it's not a big deal there. But usually, yeah, Sundays at 6:30 is when I start the stream, and it's purely just for the US side. Anything that's like a one-off, that's usually like early in the morning or whatnot, every couple weeks, or I haven't determined how frequently I'm going to do that for EU. But if it's usually at odd times, like late at night or early in the morning for a lot of people in the US, it's the EU side. Yeah. But I mean, usually on like the thumbnail or the title, it'll say something along the lines of like EU server in there, so that you know it's for the EU. Yeah, I try to differentiate just to make sure that people understand it's not the US side. And then we got a character called Notice, so we're gonna go notice him. I really like the green of the material. They had to put that in themselves, so I actually like that. Yeah, it's not bad. I actually like that. Let's see. Got Poseidon over there, another Poseidon character. Alright. We got Rogue Patriot over here. Alright, and I got Johnny again saying that he's got the rival style, I guess, for Johnny Storm in Marvel Rivals, so there you go. Now I don't know half the styles that Johnny has like in Marvel Rivals, but I have seen some of the skins, and they're doing a good job over there, not gonna lie. There's some styles that I look, I'm like, yeah, they know what they're doing. I'm sure they're making good money on it. For sure. I mean, they look great. And then it looks like we have a Red Tornado character. I mean, pretty obvious by the name, but there you are. Very nice. I mean, that's still easily the best, easily one of the best head styles for Red Tornado in the game, still to this day, which is crazy. And then we have Baru here. I mean, I know he's trying to go for a dark character, but man, that's a lot of dark energy there. I can't really see too much, but I like that the back style really lights up and you can see the cape. That's not bad. Yeah. Alright, and then we got Johnny Blaze here. Looks like he's got the... Yeah, he's using the shoulder styles I was thinking of. Yeah, it definitely makes the Cosmic Ghost Rider so much better now. Yeah, those are definitely the best shoulder styles in the game for that. Cause I made I made a style of it. I don't know, maybe a couple months back, and I didn't really have any good shoulders for it. I mean, the ones that I had were good for the time, but man, these are so much better now. Like, I would 100% recommend those for that style. So much better now. Alright. Let's see. Russell says, my comic is finished. My Cosmic is finished now with the new shoulders. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Those shoulders are easily the best for that character. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and jump over onto the corner. Wait, let me look at this Lex Luthor here real quick. Look at him, and then we'll go to the corner area and take a look. So here's Lex Luthor with the Lexobite Chroma. Alright, I'm going to go over to this corner area. See if we have some people over here that we can check out. We got Destroyer Allura. Is there anything that really stands out? We'll look at Saiyan Gohan over here. So definitely like a Super Saiyan 4 Goku, it looks like. Not bad. Let's see what Demos is looking like. Definitely feels like something like a Sith style. Maybe it's like Darth Revan or something like that. Yeah, that's kind of what it reminds me of. Alright, we got Minato here. Let me look at Naya here. I mean, it's alright. I like that the hand wraps actually go under the chest styles sleeves pretty well. That's not bad. I mean, the face mask is nice. I'm not crazy about the material though. I feel like there should be some sort of variety with the outfit. But I mean, it's alright. But yeah, they're I just saw that they're missing an artifact. They got one slot left. Alright. Maybe they're just like leveling them up or whatnot. Got Johnny over here, Johnny Blaze. So this is his other Ghost Rider. Yeah, not bad. I actually like that. I like it because it's like you're used to like the fire and the heat and like the reddish orange, but this is like a nice like blue. Yeah, that's not bad. I like that. And it's like all the blues aren't the same, so that's nice. You need a little bit of variety, otherwise everything kind of just looks stale. Let's see here. We got Scarlet here. Let's look at Scarlet. They're known to have some pretty good style sometimes. Let's take a look. Alright. Rogue Patriot. Does he have something patriotic on? Nah, he switched to the other one. So close to patriotic. So close to living up to the name. Alright. Let's look at Superboy 1943. Not bad. He could use the official emblem though. We just had that out. I'm surprised that, yeah, I mean, what, that's like the third time they've come around? Maybe they just came back to the game or something. Man, to miss it for a third time, that's crazy. Well, hopefully better luck next time. And we got ourselves Tony Stark. Alright. He says that Ghost Rider's name is Danny Ketch, if you didn't know. I don't really know a lot of the different Ghost Rider characters and the exact people. I guess that's like the equivalent of some people not knowing the different lanterns. If you're not part of DC and you don't really understand a lot of, the different like Green Lanterns that Earth has had, so I'm not very well versed in who has had the mantle of the Ghost Rider. The only person, yeah, because I take that back. The only person that I've actually noticed, the only person that I know that had the mantle of the Ghost Rider is the Cosmic Ghost Rider, which is the Punisher. That's the only person that I know that actually ended up having the mantle of the character. All right. We got Doom over here. Chosen says, what leg style should I use? I'm mainly going for my own style, but with some Superman elements built into it. I wouldn't know without looking at the character. I'll try to check out if you're able to send it to me over Discord, I can kind of make a few suggestions after I'm done with the stream. Because I wouldn't really know without actually looking at the character. I think, like, I know a few good ones if you're just, like, because I know some people want to go for, like, Kryptonians, as if you're, like, on Krypton, or, an Earth Kryptonian, or Superman character, so you're more leaning into, like, the slimline pants, or the pants with the like, the underwear part over it, or like, you've got all sorts of aspects that you're going into. So I don't really know until I actually know which direction you're trying to go in. If it's just Superman, it's like you could use a 6-dimensional leg style. You could use the Astro Slimline. You could use the magnetic Paladin legs. Like, there's so many routes that you could go. It just really depends on what you're trying to do with it. Alright, let's see who else. I think it's red-haired Shanks I want to look at here. Like, at this point, with so many different styles in the game, with so many different styles in the game, I feel like it's such an open-ended question at this point, where the possibilities and the choices are so limitless. It's like, at that point, I'm probably like listing off, at least 4 to 5 different styles, but it's not fair because I'm probably, there's probably close to 20 different styles you could use. But if I honed in a little more and knew exactly what you're trying to go for, then I could offer something that's, that's not just throwing something on the wall and see what sticks. Alright, and then we got anime here. Looks like he's got... There you go, One Piece style. Alright. What else? We got Trick Shot over here. All right. We got Beast over here. They got a Boo style, using the comic to try to blend into the skin. Majin Buu, alright. And we got the Demiurge. I like this cape, by the way. The Naboo's Chosen cape is really awesome. You can do it. You can do a lot with it. Exa, welcome to chat. They said your videos are great, man. I really appreciate it. Thank you for watching. I also have Neo, the Neo Gods Nexus. He says, what Ghost Rider's name is Danny Ketch if you didn't know? Or, no. He said that Ghost Rider. Okay, I already saw that one. He says, the flame is blue because he's possessed by an angel. And he says, I think if I'm remembering correctly. Okay. Alright. Custer says, all of these people have some sort of background or backstory for their DCUO characters. Meanwhile, me, I just want to make my characters look cool. Yeah, I remember back in the day on the forums, like, I have an origin story. I think, I had Zoe, I donated towards her thing this year so that she could have the origin story for my character, have it on her channel. But I like to keep it short and sweet and have it be somewhat believable and not write multiple paragraphs, because I knew people that were literally writing books on the, like, just about were writing books of like their origin story of their characters on the forums. It's like I can't get into it that much, but it's good to see that there are people that are very passionate about their characters to where they, you know, where they'll do that. But that's not, to me, that's a bit much. But I think it's good to have a little bit of a backstory for your character if you want to. But for me, I kind of air the same sentiment. It's like I kind of have the same backstory, leave it, and then I just do whatever styles I want. And my backstory kind of supports that. So, you know, I don't go too crazy with that. I think the looking cool aspect is far more important just in general. Exa says, I've tried creating Yelena Belova from MCU, but I haven't been able to nail her style. Well, it's okay. I don't even know who that is. So, it sounds Russian, so maybe is it that character that has the blonde hair that's basically taking over the mantle of Black Widow in the MCU now? I'm kind of guessing that's who it is. Davey says, I want to see somebody make Gambit. Actually, Davey, I should have my style for Gambit in one of my videos. He's on the thumbnail. If you can find the video, I did it it's one of my last 5 videos or something like that. It's the Inspired Styles video. If you want to go ahead and see that, you can check that out. That's a really good solid Gambit. I think, trying to think, somebody else made a Gambit a little while back, and I thought they did a good job on it as well. I'm trying to think of who it is, but yeah, there's a few people in the game that did that. Okay, Chosen says, okay, posted what the style looks like so far on Discord. Okay, I'll check that out later. The Neo God says, I'm planning a one-shot comic. I used my game model and AI to get a picture of what a black and white comic of what I'd like it to look like. And then Exa says, yeah, my profile picture. Yeah, okay, all right. That's what I thought. To be honest, I feel like the MCU has had too much going on, and it was a bit much to try to keep up with. And like, you're talking to the person who has Disney Plus. So for me, it was too much to keep up with. It seemed like the quality went down, and I don't really watch the shows because I feel like they're not ever going to be to the same production quality as like the movies. I think their biggest mistake was trying to make the shows. I mean, obviously there were shows that worked out really well and made sense, like Loki, um, and maybe one other one that I can't think of off the top of my head. But everything else was kind of just like, uh, and then they kind of came back, and even Disney admitted that they were the ones that set like goals for everyone to go ahead and put a lot more content out, a lot more shows out, a lot more movies out, and it really put a lot of stress on the people who were actually making it. And the whole idea was quantity over quality, and it really came out as that. Um, so that kind of overwhelmed me as like just a viewer, and I was just like, I don't know, like I wasn't about that. And it wasn't like each show and everything that was there wasn't very self-contained. So there were things that were in other shows that if you didn't get the reference, then it was like, oh no, you got to watch that whole other show to get that. And I didn't like that. Uh, so that's why anything to do with like Black Widow or her storyline or anything like that after Infinity War, that really dropped off. So any knowledge of that, I don't have that. Just because it was just a bit much. And um, from my knowledge now, they've really backed off of that. Disney has said, okay, all right, we're gonna back off. We'll just let you do your thing. And now they're really starting to pump the brakes on overdoing it when it comes to different projects now in the MCU. Uh, but yeah, it was just a lot, and I think it was massive detriment to just the franchise as a whole. Because I think a lot of people now just look at Infinity War, and anything that happened after that they kind of ignore and write off. And I don't think that's a good thing as a company to have a lot of your customers just write something off as easily as that, especially if you're trying to build up a new fandom, get a lot more people into watching your movies, and retain that. Um, so you don't want to lose both new people and your loyal fans that have been with you from the beginning. So I have the Neo God saying Moon Knight was good. I saw that everywhere. Yeah, I'm sure Moon Knight was really good. I said that there was Loki and maybe another show, so Moon Knight was probably the other show. But it kind of just illustrates my point that not many of the shows were very good. Uh, and it was because they were rushing everyone. So everybody was affected. Everybody was trying their best to work with what they had, but it was pressure from up top to move things along and to increase how many things were being made and produced. And that was detrimental. Yeah. So, not saying that some shows didn't have their good points, but uh, the general consensus is that not a lot of them were good. And it was because, you can't. It's how do I say it? It's like instead of putting two or three cakes, in the oven to bake, you put 10 in there. It's bursting at the seams, and none of them cook correctly, and you still shove them out within 20-30 minutes. That's basically the same idea. It's too much going on at one time, and they don't bake correctly. Yeah. Um, Neo God says, I started watching She-Hulk. Not gonna lie, after the first episode, I lost interest, but my lady wanted to keep watching. Custer said She-Hulk was enjoyable. I do agree, but I guess I was expecting more from it. I think a lot of people are expecting more from it. Um, it it just didn't grab my attention. Russell says I didn't like Moon Knight that much, to be honest. Davey said, what year did you start playing? I started playing in 2013 around May. Exa says, have you watched anything DC Comics related? Young Justice got a season 4. Yes, I watched all of Young Justice. I also watched I forget the name of it. James Gunn did it. It's that Monsters Inc. or whatever, the Monsters the team up thing that they got going on there. I know I'm butchering it, and I should know the name of it, but they're a very niche group. So they haven't seen the light of the comics in like God knows how long. But basically, um, I saw that whole show from beginning to end. I watched all the new, My Adventures with Superman. I watched that both seasons. Um, so yeah, I'd like to think that I'm caught up on just about everything DC related for the most part. I think I'd be pretty hard pressed to find a few things in DC that I didn't know about. Yep, there you go, Creature Commandos. Thank you. Um, Custer says I've only watched season one of Young Justice. I want to watch the other seasons, but I'm pretty sure on Netflix they only go up to season three. Um, yeah, that's where you have to go to. That's the thing I don't like about with streaming services is that they end up splitting a lot of them. Like Netflix only has season three, but to see season four, you have to have Max. You have to have HBO Max to do that to see the fourth season. Which and then you have some things that come out on Adult Swim, but then that doesn't come out on HBO until like a week or two later. So they stagger something. So it's not great. I'm not crazy um, happy about that. It's kind of like cable all over again, where you have very specific exclusive things that only come out in certain areas, no other way to get it or watch it. And I think in that self, I think that's going to be a detriment to a lot of companies in the long run. They think it's good now, but I don't think it's going to be good for them in the long run. Yeah, season four should be on Max. Yep. Davey says, "Can I hear your impression on Multiverse?" To be honest, you have no idea how many takes it took for me either not laughing or trying the most god awful ways to do a French Canadian accent. It was crazy. That whole video that I did that was only a minute long. Uh, that video that I did for April Fools, just to give some people some context here. Um, that video was only a minute long, but to make the assets for it and to film and do all the other stuff, there it must have been close to like 8 hours because the assets I had to edit and make them and add them in and whatnot. It was more or less making and editing them in and making them perfect and whatnot. Kind of just the OCD side of it. Um, but it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, and I was sitting on that gem for 2 months before I could release it because I was doing it in February, but then April Fools was of course in April. So, um, but it was a lot of fun doing the video. Yeah, lot of fun, and that's the stuff I like to do for April Fools. Now I got to think of what I want to do next year, because right after I made that one April Fool's video. Then I got the idea for this year's video last year, like almost immediately after. So I already kind of had an idea of what I wanted to do with it, and then it kind of just bloomed into what it became. Uh, yeah, but now I got to figure out what I want to do next year. That'll be interesting. I have a few ideas, but they're gonna need a lot of work. So that'll kind of refine itself over time. Russell says Loki and Punisher and some seasons of Shield are only Marvel shows I enjoy. Exa says apparently AI got brought back to the comics recently. If you actually look, so there's a show called Justice League Action, and she actually is the in one of the later episodes, one of the most recent episodes, she is actually added into one of the episodes, not as her actual self, but as her AI self. Like you could tell that because so she's in. If you know the character Space Taxi, which is just it kind of it's kind of like a Jimmy Olsen, but he like goes around and ferries people around the galaxy in like his space car. Well, at some point she becomes his space AI, like companion in her her former AI form, where she's like the little circle on the screen or whatnot. And then I think she ends up breaking away to go find Razor, and it kind of foreshadows that she's going to probably have another. She's going to have another, I guess, glimpse at you know showing up somewhere else in the in the shows. It kind of foreshadows because you've already got Razor, and he showed up in Young Justice. So it's only a matter of time before she shows up again, and then they kind of unite. So I think that's the cool thing about DC is that they're having them slowly get back together again. They're across multiple shows. They're across multiple shows, across multiple different episodes, and they're slowly coming back together, and they will slowly unite at some point, at some time in one show. So I think that's kind of cool, and I look forward to it because I really like the Green Lantern series. I think they did a good job with it, and I'd like them to do a season 2 of it. I'm just gonna come out and say it. They need to do a season 2 of that. It was a crime that they didn't have it go further. That show had a lot of promise. It was a really great show. I don't know why they pulled it, and just kind of only greenlit it for that first season. But they need to go farther with it. Yeah, she was the car. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, she was the AI in the car. And then I can't remember. I don't remember, but I think she ended up leaving the car and like becoming like a green energy orb to like go off and try to find Razor. She didn't know what she was looking for, but she says, "I'm searching for someone. I just don't know who, but I'll know them when I meet them again." And then she goes off. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah. So it's like they're slowly but surely making their way back together. Yeah. So they're in two different shows. They don't know where the other one is, but they will meet up again. All right, we got Zoro over here. Says, I think because of toy sales or something was the reason it got canceled. It probably, yeah, probably, because a lot of people don't realize how much toy sales really dictate whether or not a show continues or not. So it's like, you know, guys, buy your collectibles, buy your toys and I mean, to be honest, skip the toys, just sell right to the adults. All the people that are watching it are adults. Just sell the collectibles. Rebrand them as collectibles, not as toys. Just sell them to people. They're gonna buy them. It's like, to be honest, I think you could actually get more money from the adults in the room, you know? Like, I honestly, it's like, sell to the people that, that are making the money and they're fans of your IP. I mean, that's the way to go, you know? Like, the adults are the ones that got the freaking money. Go ahead and sell to them, not to the kids. The adults will buy the collectibles. Custer says, okay, I just watched your multiverse impression videos and I had to drop a like. That was great. Yeah, a lot of work went into it, but I really enjoyed doing it. Yeah. Yep. Oh, I like this. This is the Parallax Hal Jordan. Oh, no. No, I'm wrong. This is not the Parallax Hal Jordan. This is the Parallax Kyle Rayner. Because I was just looking at the chest style. I'm like, nope, that's Kyle Rayner. Yeah, that's Kyle Rayner. I don't want to mix him up. And then we got Lobo over here. Let's take a look. Let's see how well he did. Because I know it's kind of hard to make Lobo. Okay, it's not bad. We really need a good like mustache or goatee like standalone style, kind of like the kind of like the beard, because this beard is literally the only thing that we've gotten within the last 10 years that's kind of just solo on its own. 10, 12 years. So I think we could really use a newer version or something that's scaled down. I think that would be pretty cool. We need some more face styles. That's what we need. Hi Chucky slash Whitman. Welcome to chat and thank you so very much. Exa says, what kind of stuff would you like to see DCUO do? For me, I'd like to see them update Legends PvE, but they doubt they would. Um, this may be very unpopular, but I would like to see them. I would like to see them make packs to recolor styles. I mean, recolor powers. Two things I think that are super major. Having variant power set appearances so that people can have a Blue Lantern power without them having to make a whole new one. And it could be like hard light variant Blue Lantern instead. Like it's like instead of it being green constructs, it's blue, or instead of fire being orange, it's red or it's blue. I think they should have a lot more options like that, and you would change it like you would a power token or something of that nature. I think that would be major. And then I also think they need to figure out PvP. They need to find a way to monetize that that's not super predatory, because they don't really monetize it at all now anyway. So they need to find a way to monetize it so that they're comfortable working on it, like so that they don't feel like they're throwing manpower into the trash. In hours. So they need to figure out something with PvP to make it work to where they get something from it and the players get something from it. I think those are the two major things that would come out of this for the game, and I think it would fix the two problems that people talk about, which is PvP doesn't have anything done with it correctly, and that they don't make new powers. Well, it doesn't pay for them to make new powers. So why don't we just give them reskins of the ones that people already like anyway? They just look a different way, and it'll allow people to have a lot more variety in what they want to look at. Like as Rage, I could be a Black Lantern but still have the Rage power set. I still have the power I love, but I can have it can look different. So I think that would satisfy a lot of people in terms of having a different power, quote unquote, or and then also looking at PvP. I'm not a big PvPer, never was. Didn't really do much of PvP. Still have a bunch of feats that I need to do for PvP. Never got really into it. But even I recognize that PvP is very important for the people who enjoy it. They just need to find a way to make it work for them and for the players. Because I don't think that just leaving it the way it is now is a winning strategy. I think you could get a lot more people if you just fix the PvP to a point to where everybody actually loved it. Because I think a lot of people like the rock paper scissors like formula for it, and it cut out a lot of the cheesiness that you could get that you have now. So I think those would be the major things that would be. I think the pillars of really making the game successful is getting back to those things and those improvements. Or that's my opinion on it. But I think those two things would be major, because I don't see them making new powers. I don't really expect them to, and I kind of see the reasoning why. But also as a player, I want something different. And I want, a variety of things to do. And I think that's a good compromise. Or at least as a player, I would think it would be. Now, I'm not the person behind her that's doing the coding for them, so I don't know exactly what goes into it. But I would think it would be a whole lot easier to make animations for a power set than to go ahead and rebalance and make abilities and have them proc correctly and balance the numbers and make sure that everything's coming out correctly. By making a whole new power set. That's what I would think. So that's what I think would be a good compromise for both them and the players. And I mean, and if you want to make a token to change your power set, like for the variant skin, I mean, you can up that to $15 or $20. Go for it, like do that, if that's really something that and I think a lot more people would switch because they'd have a whole bunch of like different, you know, you could have gadgets and you have two or three different variants, so I think there's a lot of avenues that they could go. But it's all about whether they're willing to take them or not. A lot of people have said the same thing that I've said, so it's not that they don't hear it. It's about whether they're going to execute it or not. That's what I really think it is. Yeah, yeah. He says honest. Access says honestly, if they did that for lanterns, it would be very popular. 100% it'd be popular. I mean, you see all the lantern stuff that they sell. Like it would be insane to think otherwise. Like they know this stuff. It's only I don't. It's the amount of time that they have and whether or not the bosses allow for them to take that sort of time. So a lot of people, oh, do they know about it? I'm sure they do. I'm sure they do, and I'm sure they're sick of hearing it. But us players, if we don't hear anything from them, then we automatically think that they didn't hear it. And it's like, no, they heard it. They're just, their hands are tied, or they're being told what they need to do now. Which, is not a very satisfying answer for a player, me included. Custer says, oh, I agree. I'd love to get a blue lantern power or orange lantern. 100%. Access says, one thing I'd like to see them is to allow us to do cross progression somehow. I used to have a ton of stuff on an account that's been around since the first anniversary for this game. That could get dicey because it's technically a different account. I understand what you're saying there. The only thing is you could have a lot of abuse that comes from that. You could have people that claim that someone else's account is theirs and then try to get the progression off of that account onto theirs. It's very dicey. I get what you're saying. It's a want from a player, and it's rightly justified that you want to see some sort of progression on another account because you already invested so much time. But there are definitely ways that people would abuse that to the highest possible way, which could lead to a lot of security vulnerabilities as well. Yeah, and it's all about how they would execute it and how they would vet to make it sure that it's the same person, and you could still have a lot of people abuse that. Davey says, do you think you could take down Multiverse and Arenas PvP? I don't know. There's always a part of me that's like, maybe, but I'm not. But I'm also one of those people that's got to tell myself, you can't be overconfident. I don't want to start underestimating somebody until I'm actually like in there and I see how much health I'm taking off of them. Then I'm just like, okay, I'm doing pretty good. But otherwise, if I don't have that sort of information, then I'm not going to be very. I don't like to be arrogant and very overly confident about things like that. I like to go about things very cautiously, and then I see how things go. I don't like to spout things like that and automatically assume I'm going to be amazing, because that may not be the case, and then I kind of look stupid in the end, and then that's I've only got myself to blame for that, right? Exa says, I also think they need to up the percentages of those exotic collections in the capsules. EU, 100% EU. If the EU keeps getting their way, and I hope they do, and there's a lot more consumer protections that end up coming through, you may get that. But I don't see companies willingly wanting to do that, and I don't even think it's the devs to blame, but it's maybe it's the people that are above them that are making the shots and telling them, hey, we want them to kind of sit between these percentages. Let's not try to go over these because we want to make this much, or we're projected we want to do this for quarter, whatever it is. So I don't know exactly how they go about it, but my guess is it comes from up top. I can't speak like 100% on that, but yeah, it's crappy. It's not great for consumer. Uh, but yeah, I think the best way is regulation that would come down and will have companies comply. That's what I think. Um, Exo says, yeah, unfortunately, Fortnite did it and then got rid of it. Yeah. Z says, good not to be cocky. Yeah, oh my goodness, being cocky and counting your chickens before they hatch. Oh my goodness. Um, you know, early on when I was younger, I definitely had to learn the hard way, especially as like a teen or whatnot. Now I just look it out and I'm like, no, no. Always be very cautious about you know, being overconfident. That's not going to get you anywhere. It's better to be smart and to scope things out. 100%. I mean, and and like I'm a rage player, so I should be one of the people that's talking crap, but I don't, because I know that I've got my ass beat sometimes as rage because they were a troll or something else. That's why it's like even before I duel somebody, I'm still kind of like inspecting them, being like, okay, I kind of know what they might do. Um, but I don't even duel that often. But even if I do, I'm looking at my opponent and and thinking worst case scenario, 100%. Yeah, trying to be smart about it, and I always try to think worst case scenario, so that I'm never really surprised if it does turn out pretty sour, you know. And then if you get best case scenario, well, guess what? You just got lucky. That's how I kind of think of it. Right? Yeah, Rage goes crazy in arenas PvP, 100%. Yeah, I know some people that do amazing with Rage, but yeah, like I said, I'm not really a PvPer, so you know, I wouldn't count myself as a true like Rage PvPer that's like amazing, because I don't PvP often. You know, so I have to rely on like Clarion or some of the other stuff, and like the really OP healing and use Berserk. So I'm trying to pull out like everything to try to do my best to get every advantage I can, because you know I don't really have the skill set. So I need every break I can get. So I think that anybody that really is really good at PvP, and you could be a crappy power and still have a lot of skill in PvP, and you still get the right amount of counters off, and you counter me just right or whatever, you could probably beat me. Yeah, 100%. So I'm not going to be overconfident on that. Welcome, pups. How's it going? Welcome, Z. All right. Let me see here. Let me go switch to the other phases. Let me look at Mark Grayson here real quick, and then I'll drop to the other phases. All right. So this is, I'm guessing this is supposed to be like his later style later in the comics. I don't know. It doesn't look much like it, but that might be what they're trying to go for. Okay. All right. Let me go ahead and let me try to get out of combat here so I can actually switch to other phases. That's the only downside of being a villain at a hero safe house. I got to go ahead and get out of combat. There we go. Phase. All right, phase 3. Let's take a look and see if we have anyone here. Oh, I got too close. Well, looks like Aquaman's going in the ocean. I didn't even think I was that close. All right. Let's make my way back. I think there was like 3 or 4 people there. So I'll take a quick look at them, drop to the other phase just in case, and then I'll go back. I think I'll just look at Emu here. Okay, so they look like they might have been a CR skip. Looks like a Big Bird inspired character, or at least that's what I think. It's kind of funny. All right. If anyone curious, actually, if you, I've never done a video on it, but I actually have my Royal Palace base that's actually over here. So that's usually my little shortcut to get the little Bohemia, and it was like that for the longest time. It's only really helped me now, um, with these live streams. Like I can kind of get here in a pinch. All right, let's get back here. So no one over here. Let me check. Phase 4 was definitely filling up with a lot of people, so I'm gonna check out Phase 4. Okay, all right. Let's take a look here. So we've got, it looks like we got Kefla here. If you don't know who Kefla is, they are from Dragon Ball Super, from the Tournament of Power arc. Really cool character. It's basically a fusion of two different Saiyans from the 6th universe. Yeah, not bad. I'd probably use a new skin for that, but I know they probably wanted it because of like the angry expression on it. They could also do for like an update on those skins as well. And you got Cumber, who's another Saiyan from the mini-series Dragon Ball Heroes. I guess it was like for a game over in Japan or whatnot. I could only go for that for so long because the power scaling on that is so whack, but it's kind of cool because it was kind of like the Dragon Ball Super version of like What If from like Marvel, but it wasn't bad. It was all right for what it was, you know. All right, so we got Aquaman Rebirth right here. So you know he's bringing out like all his full like royal everything, you know. I like seeing the old Aquaman belt. People used to pay mad money for this Aquaman belt, and they would pay even more money for the Trident. Yeah, the amount of money you got from that was insane back in the day. I mean, I'm talking like 2014, 2015. I mean, you don't get anything for really those anymore now, since you've got, you know, time capsules and all that other stuff now. And so we had that. Now I'm thinking we had that broker update. What does everybody think of that broker update? Kind of curious what people think about that. I know for a lot of people it was actually broken, like the search function. But it was actually quite interesting to see a Nimbus, a Nimbus and a few black smoke up on there. Yeah, I mean, it's not, they're not going to be accessible to anybody anytime soon, realistically, but it was still kind of cool to see them up there, to like see them listed. Davey says, have you seen anybody make Stripperella? To be honest, I don't even know who that is. Yeah, I don't even know who that is. No idea. Alright. Then we got Ultra Vegito. Alright. I'm gonna go back to the main one, maybe check out another 2 or 3 styles, and I think it'll be a stream. I think we can call it a day. Let me try to get out of combat again. And this time, probably not get yeeted by the guards. Am I in combat again? Oh. Okay. There we go. Alright. I think I'm just going to go in phase 3. Look at maybe another style or 2, and then I'll call it a stream. Because I think, to be honest, I think that first phase is probably locked up pretty good. Alright. Okay. So we're going to look at Jimmy Hudson here real quick. I like that. Very cool, like Western, like hiker character, maybe. And then we've got Dianus. So another Green Lantern character. I kind of like how he did like a bluish green. It's definitely something I'd think I'd see from like Ion or something. That's kind of cool, or like a future lantern. And then, okay. One more. I think I will look at Zine L. Or no, wait. We got Saint Walker. Just saw Saint Walker stroll in, so we'll take a look at him. Alright. There's Saint Walker. Blue Lantern ended. I think that's pretty good. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and read chat just for a little bit, just to try to catch everything that everybody's saying, and then I think we'll end it. Davey says, since you can put things for a bill on the broker, can we trade a bill now too? You've always been able to trade a bill. You were the cap is actually, I think it's like 2.2 bill or something like that. Yeah, you were. Yeah, it's been like that for a couple years now. Yeah, you can trade. You can easily trade. Like the cap is like 2.2 bill. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I think they mainly did that so that people wouldn't get scammed through trades, because it was only 2.2 bill, and if you had something that you were trying to pay 60 bill for, like something that was crazy rare like an OGR or something, that means that you would have to do the 2 bill roughly like 28 times, 30 times. And then what if the person on the 30th time or 25th time or whatever that you trade and open up the window, then they just log out with the item and they don't give it to you so so a lot of people are getting scammed with stuff like that. There were people that were doing that for a while, saying that they had a plasmic. They showed them that they had the plasmic in the trade window, and then they're like, okay, well, you need to pay me this amount. And then they do exactly that. Then they would just log out. They would just log out and not give people what they had paid for. So that's kind of just the dev saying enough is enough. We're just going to let you put it for how much you want on the broker, and if people want to buy it, they will buy it. Yeah. And I think it was a winning strategy to also allow 2 weeks instead of it only being like 2 or 3 days to be on the broker. So I think that those were also really good changes, and I also think that the collision being taken off of pets was real good. I even had a friend or two say like, "Oh no, they didn't take it off there." I said, "Okay, let me do a little video, because because maybe they just didn't see it." But I did a video and they said, "Oh well, is that in combat?" Because they thought it changed. Like if you're in combat, then it doesn't do it, or it does, or and so I did a video, like a unlisted video of like both, and no. They work really well. It does it for allies, does it for your battle combat pet, does it for your accomplice, does it for your henchman. So I think those are 2 really good changes, and I'm really excited for Tuesday, to where we get the Guy Gardner hair, the Supergirl jacket. That's going to be amazing. I'm going to see if I can use a material over it and change the colors. So that'll be cool. And then hopefully, fingers crossed, this is me wishing a lot, fingers crossed that the Guy Gardner vest emblem slot's fixed also on Tuesday and gets patched. That'll be nice. Okay, guys. Well, I appreciate you all for coming out and hanging out with me on this Sunday afternoon/evening. And I will see you all in the next video or /next stream. Laters. Bye now.